Hey, good morning. This is Stephen Swartz here with IWTS. I'm from Prince George, BC. I originate from Kissimmee, Saskatchewan. Today we're going to be doing a video presentation with James Maurice. A little bit about myself. I have a background, Indigenous background here. I was brought up in a foster home. And my parents were white, so I had experienced some different things and stuff. What I'm gonna go on with today is introduce yourself there, James.
I'm Jim Maurice, and I'm from Prince George, BC.
Also have Karen. Could you introduce yourself?
Good afternoon. Karen Longmere from Kaneka Bar First Nations on my mother's side and Swoley First Nations on my father's side. I've been in BC for, I guess, 64 years. Now I live in Alberta and just enjoying life here.
James, you wanna tell me a little bit about yourself? About your childhood and stuff.
I grew up. I started. I went down the wrong route when I was about 13. When my dad passed away, I found him in the garage in the backyard, hanging from the rafters, and it kind of screwed me up a bit when I was a kid, a lot actually. And then after that, I just started stealing, started doing drugs, and that's when my life went right downhill.
So you say this happened when you were 13 years old?
13 years old, yeah.
What was life like before that? Like, where did you grow up?
I grew up here, like just running around the streets of PG, I guess, riding my BMXs, doing all sorts of stuff. Like, I used to play hockey, play like sports, whatever, right, when I was a kid. And then, I used to have a really pretty good childhood until after my dad passed away.
Did you have any type of support when you were younger? Like,
no support. Well, my mom, that's about it. I don't really have much family around here, so my family's from Quesnel.
And where's your mom from?
She's from PG.
She's from Prince George?
She passed away while I was in jail, like 4 years ago.
Okay.
So I didn't get to say my goodbyes.
Yeah, it's not too bad. How did the counselors? What did the counselor do for you? How do you Did they?
They just talking, a lot of talking about how me growing up and how my life was and what led to violence, my crimes, like what I went to jail for, why my drug use and everything, right?
Were you able to listen to what they said and get good information? Like, were you able to move forward, or do you think that it helped you talking to the counselors?
Yeah, well, you can't really help somebody if they don't want to help themselves, right? Like, you got to be ready to be willing to want to be helped. Can't just help somebody if they're not ready to be helped yet, right? Because it'll just go in one area and out the other.
So. At what point did you find yourself like you needed the help?
Probably about 4 years ago, 4 years ago. I just said I was enough of jail. I probably spent about 16 years of my life in jail around that time, and then I just had enough. After my mom died, I promised my brother, and my brother had a cancer. He got diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, and then I promised him I'd change my life after this.
So that's like the only family you have left is your brother.
That's all I have left. Yeah, it's my brother.
I can see why it's a good reason to want to try to better your life.
And I've got a 2-year-old son right now, so he just totally changed my life right around.
Okay.
He's all part of your life.
Oh, totally part of my life. Yeah, I live with him.
Yeah.
I watch him every day. Like he's just the reason that keeps me going.
So with your son, he helps you out, because it's part of you, right?
Yeah, it's part of me. Yeah, I just totally love seeing him every day. He's just like I still like sleeping with the kid. Like she wants me to put him in his own room, and I'd want him sleeping with me all the time, just because it's. I just love waking up to him every morning with a big smile on his face as soon as he sees me. Gives me a big hug.
From that, so when you're saying like when you found your dad hanging, what led up after that? Like how were you able to deal with those things?
I never went to counseling or anything. I just dealt with it, I guess, right? And I just turned bad after that. Started stealing, breaking into houses, doing B&Es, like they're doing drugs. Like I started working in crack shacks when I was like, say 14. 14, I started working in the crack shacks here in town. Before there was crack, it was quarter-gram flaps of powder. Before it was crack, ready rock, right? And then I just, that's when I've got shot. I've been stabbed. I've been, yeah.
So you've had kind of a bit of a up and down life because it's better now today, right?
Oh yeah, it's 100% better.
But serious trauma it's serious, losing a parent or even finding them like that. I mean,
yeah. Oh, with his eyes bulged out of his head, his eyes were like bloodshot red. His tongue was hanging out of his mouth, and yeah, it's in his like gouges in his neck from trying to get out of it because he had an extension cord right in a thing like that. As soon as he got out of there, he couldn't get the extension cord around his neck. And he had like deep gouges in his throat trying to get the thing off his neck, and he couldn't do it. So, and I walked in probably about 5 minutes after that. So he was just still kind of swinging a bit.
So after all this, there was no support given or help. Like
no, I never seeked help. My mom never seeked me help. My mom was bad into a crack addiction too. So, pretty much since
after each time you went to jail, was it harder for you to cope?
I got more, like jail was like my second home. So that was like institutionalized. I turned it into get institutionalized for being, like, it was like my home.
So it became
like,
norm.
going to jail wasn't a punishment to me. It was like saving myself from the streets. You know what I mean?
You're able to get some support or see people in there. And,
yeah. Oh yeah. I have a lot of friends in jail, in and out of jail.
Are they still your friends today?
No. Probably not. No. Well, some people are, yeah, but like I don't want to surround myself with people like that anymore because I've tried to change my whole like the way I think of things and everything. Mm-hmm. So like my kid and my wife is the only thing that keeps me going every day.
What about your emotional well-being? Like, what do you do to if you have any thing that you don't want to, like hard emotions or whatever? What do you do for self-care and stuff like that? I know your child is obviously number one, but what do you do for yourself?
I like to I used to like to go to the gym, work out.
Yeah.
Stay in shape, you know what I mean? Like, I actually really love going to the gym and working out, but I haven't been to the gym in a bit, so it'd actually be a good thing to get into again.
Do you think society, too, as well, has anything to do with it? Like the government or, police, the way they treat people or whatever? You know, not all police are bad, right? But sometimes...
No, but the police around here are way worse than I've seen all over BC.
I mean, they got a good reason to be. I mean, and I thought that for many years too. But they got it's a tough town, right? Like there's a lot of different people in here, and they react differently. So how have they treated you? Would you say?
How they treated me?
Yeah,
I've been beat up a few times by the cops here.
Do you think that you had any part, like?
Well, no, not even just because they don't like you. Like I'd had them slam the cuffs on me and then actually like crank my wrist like and I can hear my wrist like I've got scars all over my wrists just from being in the cuffs.
Do you think maybe because you're a bigger guy and working out and stuff like that, it might have something to do with it, or they're intimidated?
They just don't like certain people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They just don't like. Some cops are just assholes. There's no matter who it is. They just don't like people.
So you might have been treated unfairly from
a few times. Yeah, not every time, but a few times.
If you could help people or anybody, like with not getting involved with gangs or supporting them through what they're going through, or if they may have children that are getting involved with gangs and stuff like that, do you think how could we do that as a society?
I don't know, just more people so a lot of people don't have anybody to turn and talk to and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Just like me, I didn't talk to anybody for years. Like I kept everything bottled inside of me, right? Like until I've seen a psychologist or psychiatrist or just like even like somebody to talk to, right? That's been there, done that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that has the experience, more outreach workers and more support workers,
right? Like that. I wish there was more people like that I could have talked to, right?
Yeah, because you probably feel more comfortable
Yeah.
with somebody that's been down that
Oh,
road, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Because then you know it's not all about paperwork. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people talk about that kind of stuff where they don't like seeing counselors
Yeah.
because they don't have the similar shoes.
Yeah,
They know what's
exactly.
in a book, but they
Yeah.
don't.
That's totally the right. Yeah, that's totally right.
Yeah, so it's hard to build trust or talk to
Yeah, that's
anybody.
that's the reason why I haven't went and talked to a counselor or anything like that, because they haven't been in this. Like I feel more comfortable talking to somebody that's been in the same kind of things I've been in my life, right? Like who's been there, done that.
I find it too. It's people that have been through a hard life and stuff like that. It is easier to talk to somebody that's been through it,
Yeah, it has totally 100%.
right?
So you're saying you've always felt you've been judged? Like
Yeah, that's the way yeah, always.
today, do
Always.
you feel like people judge you still?
Still, yeah. Still feel like that sometimes. Well, it depends, right? Depends who it is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, even walking through a store, you got some tattoos and stuff
Yeah.
like that, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah, a tattoo on your face or whatever like that. I've gone full of tattoos, so like, yeah, it's like I always wear long sleeve shirts because I just don't want to like give them the wrong impression to people anymore because I have a son, right? Like, I don't know.
do you think like doing stuff like that, like tattoo work, or is that healing? Do you think that had anything like do your tattoos mean something?
Yeah,
Like, is there a story behind them?
yeah, not really. Just no, not really.
You just kind of got them.
I just like tattoos. Yeah.
Do you think that there could be like people could get trained on helping us, or do they need to live on have the experience?
I think experience, like having been down the same path as somebody else, is like that's means more to somebody than, you know what I mean. Like talking to somebody that's actually been in your shoes, like, you know what I mean, and have overcome everything.
Do you
Like,
think we could train people
oh,
or society?
I definitely, I could definitely like be there for somebody if they needed somebody to talk to, right?
But like, so like,
I have for a lot of my friends anyway, like been sat down and try to like talk to them. I've ran into a bunch of them down on the streets downtown here, and they've always tried to get me to come and sit and talk to them and stuff like that.
like I went to school for addiction counseling, and it's book work, and it's good stuff, but until you can have similar shoes. So do you think with like people would be able to train others to being able to and still do the same job as somebody that's lived or has
Oh,
that experience?
100%, yeah, 100%. I think that's actually a better way to, instead of just being a counselor and not, you know what I mean, like just having somebody sit there and just nod their head at you and be like, oh yeah, that's never done anything that you've done, or even been to jail or anything like that, right? Like it's a life, like a learning curve.
But do you think like that we, like for example, like say so if you were, do you think you could train people on the level of your experience rather than them just having book work? Like, do you think
Oh
is it
yeah,
possible to train others of our experiences?
for sure. Well, no, well, to train it if they didn't have our background.
Yeah, like for them,
Train
like I mean, they never went through it,
I'm
but
sure they could. I'm sure they could, but you wouldn't have that connection like you would have for anybody else. You know what I mean? Like you have that special connection with somebody.
would you say jail's tough, scary?
Yeah, no.
I mean,
Well,
not.
it is if you have never been there. Maybe you'd probably be scared. I remember when I was a kid. Yeah, sure, I was kind of scared because all the jail, the stories or all the movies you've, you know what I mean. But every jail is different.
Yeah,
Like,
being.
yeah. There's always a bully on every range, and then a little clique, right? So
So you'd say you felt comfortable there.
yeah, I felt comfortable there. Yeah.
What would you have? What words of wisdom would you have, or would you teach other people, kids, or anybody, to have a good lifestyle?
Stay in school. Stay in school. Try to get a trade, and stay away from drugs. And don't be tempted into having being peer pressured into taking drugs. Like my girlfriend's got 4 other kids, well, along with my kids. So I have there's 5. I live with five boys, or four boys and 1 girl. And I'm pretty much on them all the time about not doing drugs and staying away from drugs and staying in school. And yeah, I'm kind of hard on them, but it's good to be hard on them a little bit, just because I want them to do good and succeed in life. You know what I mean? Not like me. I don't want them to turn out like I did.
Do you think technology and the way the world is now, like how fast paced it is and everything, do you think that has a lot to do with the way kids are, or people are
Yeah,
nowadays.
that's true. Like technology, like their cell phones. Like you try to get a kid away from their cell phone, it's just like taking their lives away. Like you know what I mean? Like now, like every kid's got a cell phone by the time they're like 10 years old or something, even younger by now, right? Like I know her kids have got like three of them have got cell phones, and they're like 10, 11, or 11, and then 14. And
Well, they're the new babysitter.
yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
You know, keeps them preoccupied, brainwashes them.
Yeah, it brainwashes
I
them.
feel.
Yeah,
I feel that's my opinion on
yeah.
it.
Mine too. I don't believe they should have a phone at that young age.
You were saying that a lot of that stuff, you weren't, as a child, you weren't taught those things.
No, I
right?
wasn't taught them. I still have morals though. Like, still grew up with morals. Like I hate sex offenders. I hate shit like that. Like you know what I mean. It's just some things you just can't teach people. But it's just a morals, right?
So moving forward, I guess with your life, you were able to pick up these things. I mean, somebody showed them or taught you. Or,
Yeah, growing up in jail taught me a lot of respect. Like be respectful towards other people, and you know what I mean. Never reach over somebody's food or stuff like that, right? Like just little things, right?
I mean, jail, I guess, is for there to punish you or to show you different ways. So I guess it has helped you, right?
Yeah,
Like
it
you have
has.
done
Yeah.
some good things
It
in there.
has. Yeah.
Not just bothered. How could we enforce something like that? Like, I mean, not enforce, but or teach our children that it's not the right way because everybody wants what everybody else has, so they see something. Do you have any ways you think we could show or teach our children that it's better to not have one than it is? Like,
I just probably pretty much need somebody to talk to nowadays. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather like them come and talk to me, or like they have no problem coming and talk to me about anything. But their mom, they're trying to be sneaky around their mom. But me, they can just talk to me about anything because like
feel comfortable.
they feel comfortable around me. I don't know why, but
Yeah, well,
yeah. But I'm just more like down to earth than I'm not like every other stepdad kind of thing. So
maybe you smile more than she does.
yeah, no.
No, it's okay. Well, I don't.
Well, you know what? Sorry, Steve, for
Yep.
interrupting. That was great. Even though, like you said, you're not used to this, and you didn't, you don't know what to say or whatever. I think you said lots, and you shared lots of even how to change and how to teach. And we all have knowledge in certain areas.
Yeah.
And right now, you're sharing lots with your kids of what you did and what you don't want them to do.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense because a lot of parents don't talk to our kids.
Yeah.
Even about the littlest things, they're afraid to. Like the kids seem to have more power than the parents.
Yeah.
But if we teach our kids morals, if we teach our kids, respect and humility and stuff like that, and I think society today would be a lot less crueler.
Yeah, totally. Thank you. Appreciate that.
And kudos to you for changing your life and teaching your kids good life.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot.
Yeah, good for you. So I think we're going to end right now because I got another meeting to go to. And Steve, do you want to say a prayer?
A prayer? I could, thank you for coming and thank Creator for bringing us together, after all these years. There's a reason behind this all, I'm sure of it. So I'd like to thank the Creator for that and maybe, like your parents and, my father and the society here. So, I mean, there's reasons behind it. So I'd just like to say grateful for that. Yeah, that's all I got for right now.